Hello, everybody. My name is Enes Hosgor. I'm the CEO and founder of Gesund, and I'll be walking you through our data module today. Data management, data access, and integration and curation are integral parts of the AI journey. Our platform called Gesund.ai Development and Assurance Platform is positioned to be the ML native and compliant gateway to such data sources that can be cloud-based or on-prem based, internal or external to your organization. In either scenario, you have to accommodate data privacy, security, and compliance requirements. And this platform facilitates exactly that. In other words, you don't have to move your data around. You don't have to upload data to be able to access and curate data sets. So this creates this distributed data access with ML native agility while complying with the regulatory requirements. Now, let me go to the data hub to illustrate a cloud-specific example. And you can pick different folders that you have access to across different servers, internal, external to your organization that you may have pre-authorized to have access to, facilitated by us. Let me pick a specific folder with a whole bunch of studies, in this case, a whole body folder. Let me import this folder and give it a name. And you can pick the source, pick the path, and offer some tags for querying purposes, which will come in handy to curate your data sets. You can also manage access rights, which I'll talk to in a moment, and submit. After you have created the importing mechanism, now you can go to the Explorer, actually go to that folder and basically select the pertinent studies to curate a specific final data set that is relevant to your AI journey. Now, you can associate this specific data set with a specific project. Let's say you're trying to bring a pre-FDA R&D cycle to FDA submission to this constrained environment. Note that the good machine learning practices, as vocalized by the FDA and other regulatory bodies, you have to exercise data sequestration. In other words, you cannot allow wide access to particular data sets because you have to split training data and validation data and different user roles, whether data scientists versus quality assurance people. And this environment facilitates that data set sequestration and user access rights and lineage that can defend the regulatory rigor with audit trails to illustrate who has touched the data set for what role, what activity, and everything is traceable, everything is transparent here. You pick the source, you hit next, and associate some brief description to your liking, and pick specific piece of information and plug them in, anatomy and pathology, etc. You can also manage the user access rights that I alluded to earlier, because the regulatory body will want to ensure that only specific user activities are allowed. Let's say data scientists will never see the validation data set. This is exactly exercised here. In other instances as well, you can expect third-party data custodians, let's say healthcare systems, to grant you access to their local on-prem data sources in a constrained and a governed environment. So user access rights exactly manages these roles and data source access in a distributed manner while complying with expected requirements. And annotation is a asset that you can associate your data set with. I'll offer more color on this in a short bit because it's a detailed exercise. And once you have all these steps completed, you can review the data sets and ensure that they fit your requirements and create this data set. And you can view the data set cart and visualize and slice and dice this final data set that is traceable and auditable and a purpose-specific activity support asset. You can visualize individual study slices. You can visualize annotations, metadata of the study or data set, as well as similar data sets that you may have access to, that you may have already synced with using GDAP, as well as more regulatory compliance specific active journey, lineage, and history to ensure that the data set exactly has compliant activities that also follow user access rights. You can create annotation. I'll skip through actual uploading because that'll take a minute, but you can pre-existing annotations, whether that's going to come from your local, you can upload from your local, you can sync that with an existing annotation set that already registered with the hub, our data hub, or you can generate model predictions to pre-annotate some of these cases to minimize manual labor. And those models will have to be registered models to the platform, and that can be open source model, like total segmentator that really facilitates the entire exercise and accelerates the activity. Data sets and these specific annotation sets associated with one another, you can go ahead and visualize both your data in that specific data set as well as the annotation set that you just associated your data set with. And you can quality check and collaborate on these data and annotation activities as also illustrated in our annotations. Look at the cases and individual labels and annotations for quality and collaboration purposes and share it with both internal and external parties that value this exercise in a compliant fashion. This finalizes my demo today, but thank you for your attention and looking forward to reconnecting with you all for our next walkthrough. Have a good day.